Hello students, welcome to Miss Kramer's art class. It's good to see you here. Today we're making Spider-Man masks out of paper plates. As you can see, I went ahead and I painted my paper plates using my watercolors. Okay, so all you have to do is pre-paint your regular paper plate with red. You can put 2 layers if you want it darker. Do you see how it's lighter? But if you want it darker, just go ahead and put 2 layers and allow it to dry a little bit. They dry really quickly. And in class, we have tempera paints and they dry really fast too. So you're not gonna have to wait too long to go to the next step. Okay, so we're going to paint our plates 2 layers probably. If you like that look or if you're okay with a light red, you're just gonna do 1 layer. It goes really quickly. Just go over a few times with your watercolor and get a nice good coverage. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video and finish my painting separately. I'm gonna show you now the next step of what you're gonna do. Next step, after you finish painting your paper plate, you're going to, and it's dry, you can use first pencil and you're gonna do a radial symmetry. Let me show you how this is done. We're gonna do our spider web and we're gonna cut out our eyes. This is the way we're gonna do it. And the reason you should use a pencil first is because if you mess up, you can erase it. Okay, so at first step, we're gonna divide it in half. Okay, so draw 1 line in through the middle. And if you don't know how to draw a straight line, use a ruler or use a notebook. Okay, use a notebook and use it and make a line that way. Okay, we have rulers in class, so you can ask for a ruler. Okay, if you have a nice steady hand, you can just do the straight lines like I'm doing. Then you're gonna divide it in half again. So, or we're gonna actually divide it into 2/3. So 1 here, 1 here, and you're gonna finish it. And on the other side, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and go all the way down. Very good. Now on this line, the one that is close to the middle, we're gonna draw a half circle, which is gonna create the eyes look. This is where we're gonna cut it out. We're gonna cut this, we're gonna cut this. Okay? Now, let the teacher help you with the cutting if you need help. The way I do it first is I make a little indentation first, and then I go into with the scissors in there, and then I start cutting. I'm gonna cut it carefully. Or raise your hand if you need help with this part. We're gonna help you. Okay, so that's 1 eye cut out. And that's another eye here on the other side. I'm gonna be very careful cutting it. Don't cut across so you don't cut the plate in half. And then just cut it out. And then we're gonna go to the next step. Okay? Okay, and to finish up, don't forget to make your divisions. I'm making little smiley faces so that I have a little bit of an indentation. Okay, so I'm doing little smiley faces in each of these areas around the mask to create the spider web. And this is called radial symmetry because everything is symmetrical around the cross in the middle. Or it can look like a burst, star burst, right? With the Spider-Man. So everybody has looked at a spider web before. And we've seen a lot of Spider-Man movies, so probably everybody practiced to draw a spider web before. And if you didn't, this is your lucky day. Today you'll learn how to draw a spider web and make an amazing mask. Okay, so once you pre-draw it with a pencil, you're gonna go very carefully over with either a marker if your paper is dry, or you can go over with a black marker, or if you're really good, you can even try to use a black watercolor and make those lines straight with a watercolor like this over your paper plate. Okay, so those are your options. I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna go back to my dried up red mask so I can finish mine, but these are the steps in the meantime. Okay, ready to do it again. So my paper plate is dry. I'm gonna go over with my black marker, dividing my paper plate into 4 parts. Then I'm gonna, you can just approximate it. It doesn't have to be an exact science. Go across, and I turn my paper plate. It helps me to do it quicker. But you take your time. Okay, at this time, draw your eyes where you wanna have your eyes. So I'm gonna draw my eyes right here and right here. Half circles on that second line. I might make this one bigger. I'm gonna cut it out in a minute. Then I'm gonna add my smiley faces to it. So everywhere, a little smiley face, a little U-shape, curvy lines. Or you can make straight lines if you like to make straight lines. That's another look. You can make straight lines if you like that look, like this. Or you can make both straight lines and curvy lines. Whatever you like for your mask. It is your special mask. And remember, if you like to use black brush paint, watercolor paint, and use a brush and do those lines, it would look like this. You would go around and you would be very careful not to make those lines very thick. This is kind of complicated for those who don't know how to make really thin lines. Your lines are going to be probably thicker when you're using the brush. It's probably not going to be as skinny as mine, but for those who like to try, you can try if you like that look. You have your black watercolor paint, so you can try to do that. If you're really careful, it's a really good practice to make straight lines. Okay, before I forget, I like to show you, load up your white paint as well. These are tempera paint in class, or watercolor paints, depending what you have. And then we're gonna go around the eye a couple of times to get a good coverage, and on the other side as well. Okay. You don't be scared to put more white around it, because Superman has kind of a lot around the white eye. So if you go all the way here, that's actually probably good. Okay, and then we're ready to cut the eyes out. So you can also fold your paper plate where your eye is, like just approximate and cut into it to make that cut, and then go around and carefully cut your eye. And if you lost a lot of the white, just come back like I do right here and just add more white on the edges if that happened. I'm hurrying because I'm making a video and I don't want it to be too long, but you will take your time. So I made a little cut in there. I folded it. Now I'm gonna put my scissors through it and I'm gonna cut it carefully. I decided I'm gonna add white anyway because I like a better coverage. I like the white to pop up more. Do you see how I'm doing that? That's starting to look good. And I decided mine is gonna have a little more of the lines made with brush, just so they're thicker. So if your paper plate, the red paper plate you painted is already dry, you can go straight into just using the brush if you're confident. You don't even need to use the marker, especially if you're running out of time in class. You can choose one that you want to do. Or if it's not going really well with the brush and the lines are too thick, switch to a marker. The one rule about markers is never put the marker into wet paint, like if the paper is not dry yet, because it's gonna stop working well. We need to, with the markers, always wait that the surface is nice and dry. We don't need to wait with the watercolor. So if you want to get started right away and your paper is still wet, then go ahead and just use the watercolor or the tempera paint that you have. I hope you love this lesson. The last part will be to make a hole on each side. Then you can wear it on your face. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in our next video.